Hey there, everyone, and welcome to the month of February. So in today's video, I just want to share a few ideas about why I think the month of February is a really significant month. Yes, I know that March is getting all the attention because we've got some really big kahuna transits happening then. We have Saturn moves into Pisces. Mars finally changes signs after 7 months in Gemini, finally moves into Cancer, and of course, Pluto in Aquarius. But before we get to March, obviously, we have to live through February. And I really do think that this is an interesting month if you kind of dive into the astrology a little bit more. So I want to give you a few ideas on how to cross that threshold. And so the reason why I am calling the month of February, which I also explained in depth to my Golden Circle members, is that maybe it was last week I was in the gym, and for those who know me, it is a place I do spend a lot of time. And I was meditating on February, and a song came on my playlist thing, and it was from a band called Hatebreed. Yes, it sounds rather nasty, but the message is actually really positive in it. And the song was called To the Threshold. And so it was this idea of pushing yourself, grinding, attacking the enemy within, and, getting yourself stronger. And so it really kind of felt like that. We've been through some gnarly transits with retrogradation of Mars, eclipses, some funky stuff with Venus late last year. And a lot of us have been in a little bit of a holding pattern, a stagnant place, waiting for that sort of change in the astrological weather. But it's almost like we're just getting tested or tested. I just come up to the idea of getting tested. It's like, are we there yet? Yes, but not yet. And there's more to do. Though February is really interesting because there's a few features I want to share with you. But before I get there, a couple of the obvious things. So firstly, February sees a free reign on retrogradation, which is yay. I'm a Gemini rising, so I guess you know where I'm coming from. So we don't have any retrograde planets until April. And so things start to get a little bit funky again in April because we have a Mercury retrograde again. And of course, we welcome eclipse season. But for now, everything is relatively smooth sailing. We have Mars on the move. Yes, Mars did station direct at 8 degrees of Gemini back in January 12, but it's been moving super slow. And then while Mars is not back up to his regular pace, in February, he's getting a little bit more speed. So this will start to show things that have perhaps been a little bit slow going, stuck, stagnant, or frustrated, might start to get a little bit of mojo and momentum back. Funnily enough, I am recording this video as the moon is conjoined Mars, and my neighbors, all I can hear is this terrible thumping of whatever music they are listening to. It's like, come on, guys, it's a school day. But anywho, there's some frustrations for you there. A sidebar there. So, and then of course, we have Mercury move signs for the first time in a couple of months. So Mercury has been in Capricorn since December 11, and on February 11, finally, Mercury changes signs and moves into Aquarius. So obviously, February is not March, but we do start to see some shifts, some changes in the astro weather. So things that have been, as I said, stuck, stagnant, slow, frustrating, that feeling of marking time will start to, the clouds will lift most definitely and hopefully. But there's 3 planetary influences in February that I think are really important to consider because they're very final. And so number 1 is we do experience the very last Mercury conjoined Pluto in Capricorn this month, and that happens at 28 Cap. Now, yes, in December, we will get a very brief co-presence of Mercury and Pluto, but definitely not a conjunction. So this is the final time. So if you have planets or angles at 28 Cap, this is Hallelujah. Thank God that's over. So for everybody else who doesn't have any significant points around that part of the sky, this may not only be a closing out or a wrapping up of the last 2-month cycle of Mercury in Capricorn. This is a 15-year wrap up. So Pluto first moved into Capricorn in 2008. So this may be a really good opportunity to reflect, to think back. How have you grown? What have you learned? What have you discovered? What would you change? What might you do differently? What takeaways from the last 15 years? AKA look at your Capricorn house. And, that's not over. Like Pluto is going to come back to Capricorn a little bit from June to December this year. Or maybe it's November, but like this is a significant ending of sorts as well. So that's something to think about as we move into February. Another feature that's sort of very final or very different or very unique is Venus in Pisces. So we have Venus in Pisces, which is a very nice transit. I hope you've been enjoying it too. I've really been craving a bit more sugar, a little bit more wine than I normally would have. I think I'm just making the last of this pure dose of cosmic sweetness before Venus wrangles with Saturn. So obviously the next, 2 to 3 transits of Venus in Pisces is going to have a co-presence with Saturn. So this is our last hurrah to, drink the wine, experience that sort of sublime ecstasy of what Venus in exaltation suggests. So whatever that means for you, I suggest look at your Pisces house and go for it. Because the next time Venus is free of the constraints of Saturn, which will be in a few years' time, Neptune would have moved on. So this is the real kind of last Venus Neptune in Pisces transit that we actually do have. So Venus Neptune does have a little bit more of a like a double exaltation or an exaltation on steroids type of influence to it. I think Neptune has that capacity to perhaps amplify, perhaps even fog up or make something. Venus in Pisces is seeking something that's a very intangible, a sublime and divine. And Neptune sort of wants to do the same thing as well. So I don't want to go on that. Maybe that's something I will save for another video down the track. But point being is that 24 degrees of Pisces is marking an end of an era. Again, if you've got planets or points around that part of the sky, 24 of Pisces, it's a significant transit. Now, the third one in February is the Sun conjoined Saturn. So that happens at 28 degrees of Aquarius this month. And that'll be the last time for 29, 30 years. So if you are in a Saturn profection or have planets or points at around 27 Aquarius, the next time we have Aquarius seasons, it's going to be sans Saturn. So that's going to be, another level of finality around the Aquarius part of your chart. Obviously, Pluto is coming for that area, but that is another story. The Sun-Saturn story is definitely over. There's a lot of things I could say about that, but just one tip is a lot of people that I've been speaking to in practice, like in consultations, readings, is a lot of people with significant Aquarius are freaking out somewhat about Pluto's arrival there. Now, I just want to give this to you as what should I say? As a little bit of maybe my Jupiter on the ascendant sagely wisdom is that I guess my hope for you guys is that you've already done the hard yards with Saturn. You've had 2.5 years of Saturn in Aquarius. And then if you want to include Capricorn, Saturn moving through Saturn ruled signs for the last 5 years. So there's been a lot of Saturn for Saturn people. Now, the obstacles, the challenges, the limitations, the weight, the heaviness, the darkness that Saturn brings, it's going to be done. But yes, Pluto is coming. And look, there's no way around this. No way, shape, or form can I ever say, a Pluto transit is, sunshine and roses. But at some point, a Pluto transit is about that regeneration, that growth, that renewal, and breaking out of that cocoon. Now, my hope for those people who are Aquarians, have Aquarian dominant charts or significant factors in their birth chart in Aquarius, is that this breaking out of the cocoon or growing those wings or having that regenerative skin peeling renewal happens quicker for you because you've already done the Saturn stuff. So it's not like Pluto's just come out of nowhere, smacking you in the face or dragging you down into the underworld, kicking and screaming. You're kind of been on a long, dark path already. So I could talk about that forever, but I will stop right now. But I do hope that that does give you a little bit of food for thought as you move into February, and of course, which becomes March, and we are all staring down the barrel of various Pluto transits moving forward. So just to sort of sum up, yes, February is very much a threshold month. There's quite a few completions, even some of the moon cycles that happen. The last moon conjoined Pluto in Capricorn, for instance. Obviously there will be more, but for a little while at least, the last one that we've had in 15 years. So there's quite a few little signatures in the month of February that are very much about endings, closures, and completions, and then opening us into a brand new vista of astrological energy as we move into March. So I'm kind of excited for this month. I'm looking forward to it. I'm personally looking forward to getting my mojo back when Mars decides to say goodbye to my first house. That'll be nice. But I really hope that the astrology of February is kind to you as well. I've had quite a few questions come through asking about readings and stuff like that. Yes, I am available for readings. You can book in via my website. And of course, there's the Golden Circle Club as well. If you would like more astrological energy advice, tips, and navigating your way through the sky each and every month. So I'll put links down the bottom for you where you can investigate that further, get more information. Feel free to contact me via my website or in the comments below. I'd love also to hear in the comments below, what are you looking forward to in February? What transits have you got your eye on? What are you glad will eventually be over? I'd love to hear from you. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have a great February.